Coming up today on Ktown Social Club, fires take over LA and incompetence shines. The ruling class has solidarity. Why don't you? The TikTok ban backfires on the U.S. And is Trump bringing a ceasefire to Gaza? All that and more coming up. From Koreatown, Los Angeles, thank you for tuning in to Ktown Social Club for the issues you really care about. With Ed Choi, Young Kim, and I'm your host, Michael Kim. And with that, let's start the show. All right, welcome back, everybody. How was your weekend? You know, it's been a very blazing week.
Yeah, I haven't left my house. I'm still, even today till tomorrow, my house is in evacuation warning.
Wow. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Where is that?
I live like 7-8 minutes from Pasadena.
Oh, okay. A few of my friends were evacuated. La Crescenta. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Crescenta Heights. What is it? Crescenta? No, it's La
Cañada
and La Crescenta. Yeah. Those areas. A lot of evacuations there.
Well, from this morning until tomorrow morning, there's hurricane level winds warning again. So they're staying that the fire can spread again.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
So.
Okay. How about you, David? How's it been for you? Have you been affected by it?
I didn't plan this, but I actually was in Colorado this past weekend. I was at Rocky Mountain National Park.
Dang, I feel like that would have made me more nervous.
Well, my house is like below the 10. So the worst we got was ash rain. And the air was terrible, but I mean, I can't complain about terrible air.
Actually, if you were like in LA City, you were kind of, covered.
Yeah.
South Bay also. South Bay didn't have any issues. But you remember that? There was like some kind of a evacuation warning that came out for everywhere.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't going nowhere, dude. What are you talking about, dude? But yeah, what was that?
I think they were saying
a mistake, right?
Because normally from November to January now is our rain season. This year, it didn't rain one day.
But I thought we had like all this rain last year and the drought was over.
It was for that year, and now we're depleted again, especially because of this fire. But they're saying that because it was so dry, the likelihood for spread is significantly high.
Oh yeah,
because it's so dry.
And we had like La Nina or El Nino or one of those, right?
El Nino was in the 90s.
Yeah, it was like
El Nino's no more.
that was a long time.
It was like 97.
Wow, so now it's La Nina.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Anyway,
I was in Korea for 20 years.
Right. Okay. Oh, by the way, today we're joined by David Yoon, who's here. Yeah. So
For a second there, I was like, "Oh man, I didn't know about this." I was like, "No."
Yeah. David, you're just sick, right? That's not.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you show your face for a second so people remember? Loyal citizens of Pyongyang.
Oh, that's who you are. Okay, now I know you.
You didn't remember me before?
No,
Are you
you walked up with a mask on. I'm just like, okay, I know you. All right, hi.
Yeah, you interviewed him like.
I know.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Now you know.
Now
Okay,
I know
okay.
more.
Right.
I mean, like, yeah.
Which is funny because sometimes you're like, this mask is still going to identify me, but it's like, how many times do you see people and you're like, I've known you for 10 years, but I did not recognize you.
No, really?
Yeah, some.
No, but you could recognize people like that you've known for a while, right?
Some with like clothing, demeanor, and stuff like that. But there's been a couple times when like I didn't see them walk up and stuff, and I was just like, I don't know who you are.
Right.
Inside, I was like, oh hey, good seeing you again.
You know what's funny? Like, I never thought Americans would wear a mask, but now it's like even after COVID's done, someone's sick or something, they don't feel well, they wear masks.
Welcome.
It's like
the
Korea,
20th
dude.
century in Asia. Jesus
It's like
Christ.
Korea, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
And
in
then
the 80s when I was a kid.
When the ash was flying around,
Yeah.
there were guys wearing masks.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I wore a respirator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
A
Yeah, it's
respirator,
good.
like a
Oh, straight up?
respirator.
Oh.
That's good.
How much are one of those?
It's like $70.
I remember last week you were out of power for a while, right?
Yeah, like 18, 19 hours. It was like right on Tuesday when the fires started.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, and last week our episode came out like one day after the fire started, so we couldn't cover that. But we did cover that Karen Bass, mayor of LA, was in Ghana attending the inauguration of the Ghanaian president.
Did you see the interviews of her on her return?
Yeah, she just sat there.
Yeah,
I'll just say, I'll make it seem like it's just fake news. Like someone put an audio over that.
But with this face the whole time. And I was like, the tone deafness is fucking so loud. So loud. I was like, you're smiling because you're clearly getting aggravated. And I was like, people are homeless and dead, you fucking nitwit.
Yeah. And Karen Bass, you interviewed her, didn't you?
Yeah,
Here
we
in
did.
This same studio.
It was a very, very Very set up interview type
Did you
of thing.
like her then?
No, I didn't dislike
'cause
her.
you
but
and Michael won.
We
You
didn't
guys
have
are-
any. We didn't have a chance. We had a agreed set of questions.
Oh, that's
So
politician.
yeah. I mean, you know Michael Wan. He would have just blah.
Right.
You know him.
Why? What about him?
I mean, he would have brought something up
Yeah.
and tried to push it and blah 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 blah. blah. You know,
Right.
he would have done something like that. But there was a prior agreement.
Right. Now, Ed, you're pretty liberal, but even you are like, what the fuck, Karen Bass, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing with a lot of times with the political spectrum is that I feel like a lot of progressive people aren't people or party loyal. We're community loyal. I don't know what the right term is, but policy loyal, whatever it
It's
is.
funny, like the Democratic Party is supposed to be for the people, you know, for the laborers, for the workers, for the unions, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think she messed up big time.
Yeah, she's a piece
Big
of shit.
time.
Yeah, what
big
is
time.
that mayor of Los Angeles going to Ghana for? Like,
I don't know what the relation is. What is the
It was-
relation with Ghana?
It was for purely like selfish aspirations, I think.
Well, Garcetti-
She wanted something to step into when her mayoral seat.
Maybe it was a
whatever,
tip from
is over.
Garcetti. Say, hey, I went to India. You should go to Ghana.
Oh, she wants to be ambassador to
I mean,
I'm saying.
yeah, why
That's-
not, right?
That's. I mean, I feel like that's obvious.
Had Kamala won. Wait, but okay, anyway.
Well,
All right.
also, like, we hate her.
Right.
LA hates her.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what is she going to do politically? The only thing she has left is to be a diplomat of some sort.
Right. Okay, well, yeah, there was a lot of criticism about Karen Bass, about Governor Gavin Newsom. You know, there was a clip that kind of went viral for a little bit where I guess Trump was on the Joe Rogan show and said that Gavin Newsom wanted to save a fish. Do
Is
you know
it the
about
smelt,
that?
right? Is it really that fish, or is it? Because I don't know what's real. You know,
Yeah,
what's
that's actually
not,
fake
You know
news.
what I mean?
Oh, it is fake news.
Yeah,
okay.
It
the,
is.
The two are not tied. Both happened, but the waters for both are completely separate.
Right, and then there's also information that we see that it's a billionaire couple that owns or has control of like billions of gallons of water.
Yeah,
Dude, that's-
they've been reporting on that for a couple of years. Yeah.
pretty sick,
the
dude.
Resnicks, they own like the Wonderful Company, like Palm Wonderful.
Palm, yeah.
They own the Cranberry Company, Craisins, and I don't know what you guys know about cranberries, but if you've seen those commercials where they're like standing in water with like the wetsuit on and they're like pouring cranberries, he's like, these are fresh cranberries. That's how cranberries are grown, and they need it needs to be flooded land for
Oh,
cranberries to grow.
interesting.
So they use a shit ton of water.
Wow. And okay, so that's, you know, there's that. And then there's also discussions about how, you know, the Karen Bass, I guess, cut the budget for the fire department.
17 million, right?
Yeah.
That part is true, but then they upped the LA Fire Department budget thereafter, and technically the delta was up. So,
But I heard that didn't hit yet, though.
oh, okay.
That's what the city controller said.
Yeah, that
Well,
there's
yeah,
like I
Kenneth
would listen
Mejia.
to Kenneth Mejia,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I think I have Kenneth's here. Seeing city officials in the press ignore the severe impacts of these budget cuts, especially the ones covering for their poor budget decisions to cut a majority of departments' budgets, and even after Chief Crowley told them about these impacts, the impacts these cuts have had is disgraceful. They keep saying, but LAFD got a raise in November. If these fires happened in August or October, would these same city officials then admit that LAFD's budget got cut in July, where 61 civilian support positions were eliminated and sworn payroll and expenses were reduced? 61, wow, okay.
Actually, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, and by the way, the money that they keep saying is being held for LAFD's raises are in this separate account, hasn't even been transferred to the LAFD's operating budget as of this date. How do we know this? Because we're the city's accountant. We know that. Okay, Kenneth. All right, good job there. We didn't want. Oh, and Kenneth has been in here too. We interviewed him here
really?
too. Yeah. We didn't want to get into the city's budget and finances during these times, but to see city officials come out and ignore the fire chief's warnings, impacts of the department's budget cuts, made us jump in. We can explain how all this works and how we got here. Just scroll down. So anyway, yeah.
I see what he's saying. Since the money didn't come in until November, the budget cuts happened earlier the year, so people were cut.
Right, so they're blaming the budget cuts, and then they were saying, you know, DEI hires. What is it? Diversity, equity,
And inclusion.
inclusion.
I think I saw one meme where there was a plane. It was like pretty close and going slow, and it completely overshot it, a drop. And then like it would say like DEI hire, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? You know,
I think they were referring to the LA Fire
Yeah,
Department captain,
yeah.
right? Who's actually extremely qualified.
who?
The
Oh,
LA
he.
she.
Oh, she.
She.
Lesbian,
She's
right?
a lesbian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's the one that warned
Yeah.
the mayor
Karen
about
Bass.
this.
Yeah.
So she's very qualified,
Yeah.
Right.
beyond qualified.
Yeah. So here's Kristen Crowley, right?
Yep.
So she calls out the city for having no water in the Santa Ynez Reservoir. She says, yeah,
What's the story behind that? The water in the reservoir, is it why
I don't know that one specifically, but what I heard was that it was scheduled for maintenance.
Yeah.
schedule for maintenance.
And it's
Okay.
been that way for
But
a while now.
Yes, but according to the fire chief, it shouldn't have been during this time.
Which
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, so she says that, the city, was it the city failed?
City 100% failed.
Yeah, did the city of Los Angeles fail you in your department? Did they fail you? She says yes. And I believe I even saw that Karen Bassett called the fire chief
Yeah,
in and
she
she was going to
summoned her.
fire her, but decided not to. I don't know if that's true. But that was reported by several
God, she's a piece of shit.
places.
that would have
So
been really bad. if
another
she
big
fired her.
criticism there was for the LA's water chief, who apparently makes $750,000 a year,
That was crazy.
That is
who
insane.
was responsible for making sure fire hydrants had water. Previously said the number one thing she cared about in her role was equity.
I got it's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens.
Wait, but
and
the
public
Santa
justice
Ynez
and
Reservoir is
making
for
sure
San
that we
Diego.
ru-
The Santa Ynez Reservoir is for San Diego.
Gee, man, you,
Oh,
you
is
know
it?
a lot of facts.
That is
How
that
do
is
you
not
know
for
this?
that's not for LA like at all.
So which one is the one for
pretty
LA?
sure. From what I understood, the Palisades in Pasadena have their own actual reservoir that's not connected to LA County.
Wait, but Santa Ynez Reservoir is.
Oh, that is the Santa Ynez Reservoir? Just kidding, man.
Oh wait, this is
That's,
like.
that's the one that was empty.
Oh,
no?
that's the one that's empty then.
yeah.
You know what? I used to live right in this neighborhood around here.
Oh, really?
I
Where
never knew.
is that?
I never knew this was here. This is the Palisades Highlands.
Oh.
You know, that's the one that's empty for maintenance.
Yeah. So yeah, this is in the Palisades in the Highlands. Sunset is down here. Yeah, this is Sunset here.
Yeah, so it burned,
PCH.
it burned through all that, huh?
Dude, yeah, look at it. It's like prime
Yeah.
burn site, dude.
So apparently the
There's so
home
many
that I
mountains
grew
and
up in,
bushes
this
nearby.
area burned down when I checked some maps or whatever. But yeah, I never knew this was here. I would always just drive past and I never knew.
It's like in a. Never mind.
Yeah, but-
Malibu got
I don't
hit
think you
too,
can see
right?
it. Is what I was just trying to get at.
Yeah.
But not as
Yeah.
bad as Pacific Palisades. Obviously, I mean they're all so
Yeah.
close together too.
And then when we moved here in the Palisades, so our family lived in the Palisades from 93 to 2007. And immediately, like within a month of us moving in back in 93, there were these huge Malibu fires. And we could see the fires all around here.
Oh, shit.
And
that
we
must
were
be
out
scary.
out here and fire guys were coming to us saying, leave your hoses out and all this. And we'll let you know if you got to leave. And it was just like, anyway, so it's been and then I've had to deal with other fires. Like when I lived in the desert, like there's fires all the time. But apparently the fire started around, I think,
It started right at Skull Rock.
Skull Rock.
They actually showed some
right
video
there
of
to the
that,
right.
right? And there was
Yeah,
some
yeah,
smoking
around
going
there.
on. There was like some area that was smoking.
Yeah, it was like one of these homes, I think. Yeah, but and by the way, legendary actor Ray Liotta, he used to live in this house right here. I drove by once in high school. He looked at me like the end of Goodfellas because he was picking his morning newspaper. And Kobe Bryant, he used to live. I think it was anyway one of these houses around here.
Interesting.
This was like 25 years ago. Kobe Bryant used to live here, but this is all burned down. The Palisades Village. This is my high school here, Palisades Charter High. I saw that in some videos that it was also on fire. This is the village. This is I think this is Caruso's property here.
It is.
Yeah,
It's the
right
only
here.
thing in the Palisades that looks like there was no fire.
Yeah. So anyway, this is all. Yeah.
It's like strangely so similar to Oprah,
In
you
Hawaii.
know, in Maui, right?
yeah.
Yeah, but that was like her home versus like his business.
Okay.
And a lot of people, which I mean, it is the same though. It is. But a lot of people were like, well, he saved a bunch of small businesses. It's like, but for whom?
Yeah.
There's no one there with money anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then this lady was. So we can blame this $750K a year lady, huh? If she was in charge of the Santa Ynez thing. making sure fire hydrants had water. But anyway, it's amazing that a water person can get paid that much, because the president of the United States gets
$450.
Was it 450?
440,
Well, 400 to 450.
yes.
Gavin Newsom gets 224, and people like AOC get 174. But I guess she's really good with water. So yeah. According to Daily Mail, which I believe is a British tabloid type,
Yeah.
They're right-leaning.
water czar is responsible for a raft of failures that contributed to the devastating Palisades fire. The city, on Mayor Karen Bass's orders, the city maxed out its budget to attract private sector talent, hiring LADWP CEO Janice Quinones on a $750K salary in May.
Oh, okay.
Almost double that
No
of her
wonder.
predecessor.
It's government, right? It's government, but they could do that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
They have the budget. Just move shit around. Fire some
Wait,
people.
LAWP is private?
Yes.
No.
Isn't it?
Is it?
Or is
I don't know,
or is
but
it
that's pretty
public-
sick, though. It's like, hey, you know what? You want me to work here?
I thought
Give
it was
me
a-
$750,000. That's like, whoa.
It's
I thought it was
the.
Government-funded private company.
Let's see. It's 11,000 employees, agency executive.
1,000.
See, I don't know. It's
Majority
a
are technicians.
municipal utility. I don't know. Like, is this
It's a name, I assume because of the name that it's city owned.
government or private? So it's what is this?
What is municipally?
It's a municipally owned utility. So I guess what
Okay.
the cities own it or something. The city owns it.
But like, why would you hire a CEO of a water company whose sole job is to limit the use of water?
Yeah, the problem is a lot of politicians, try to treat governance like it's a business, and a business is different than a society. You can't just look at profit and all that
Especially when it has to do with safety or,
Yeah.
taking care of
Right.
the welfare of
Right.
people.
The numbers and losses we should be looking
Yeah.
at is lives,
Yeah.
not dollars.
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so that was kind of disappointing for Karen Bass to think that, hiring private sector is the solution. But anyway, what other criticisms were there? Not enough money for the fire department budget cuts. And by the way, LAPD got even more money. So
Right.
LAPD budget keeps increasing.
So that's where that budget went.
That is where
Yeah.
that budget went.
So
I mean, because
all-
they got debudgeted.
I think technically it went to the sheriff's department, but yes, same.
Yeah, so all the conservatives who are upset about, police being defunded, hey, Karen Bass is your buddy. She's been funding the police like crazy. So, vote for her.
But I think maybe taking it out of the FD, when we have all these brush fires and wildfires everywhere, that might not have been a good idea.
What the crazy part though is that like that area regularly catches fire.
Right.
In fact, they used to set fires there on purpose, but they're saying that outside of like climate control and all that other stuff and the drought, the lack of water, they're saying one of the biggest reasons for the spread of fire is the invasive foreign species of plants. Because all the plants that used to be in that area, they're all fire retardant because they grew and evolved with the fires that happen
Oh, okay.
regularly.
Yeah.
So they're meant to withstand fire and not
Right,
burn.
right.
But there's like a lot of like very invasive foreign species like eucalyptus plants, which essentially are filled with oil. So they're very, like you think of like eucalyptus oil, yeah, that comes from the tree, which means that when there's fires, that tree is like one of the most flammable things in the world. There's a shit ton of eucalyptus plants in that like Palisades Valley area.
Do you know about that raking thing? When you're supposed to rake like the foliage and like dead trees, you're supposed to remove it from there. Is there a fact to that? You're supposed to do that to prevent fires? Or?
Well, the Radio Korea tower site, the 36-acre
Yeah.
mountain site, every year we have to do brush clearance. It costs like 40 grand.
that's from the fire department. They tell you
The
to do
fire
it right
department
now.
makes us, and they have to come check and make sure that it's it's clear enough so that it's not a fire risk. And yeah, that's really expensive, but we have to do that every year. And by the way, eucalyptus, when I did live in the desert, the winters get very cold, so we use firewood. And I remember a lot of the firewood salespeople would say like, you can get mixed wood or you can get all eucalyptus.
Yep,
And I'm
because
like,
it burns.
and it would be like much more expensive.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, everybody wants eucalyptus. And yeah, I noticed
Because it
it
has oils
burned
in it.
really well. Yeah.
Can you cook on it?
I think it's
You can cook on a wood burning stove.
No,
Why
but
not?
I'm wondering, if it's because
Eucalyptus-
there's oil in
I
there.
don't think there's-
Sometimes it might change the taste of the food, the flavor.
Maybe, maybe.
Like yuntan, the
Yeah.
Korean coal briquettes.
Yeah.
They actually make food taste better.
Right.
But it
Like-
releases carbon monoxide everywhere.
Hickory wood or something. Too.
I don't think I've heard of eucalyptus wood as being
Like
flavor
smoked- yeah,
enhancing.
yeah.
Maybe you could
Maybe
try. Maybe
oak.
someone needs to try.
Yeah.
Not it.
But anyway, let's see what else.
That shit-eating grin.
Huh?
Her shit-eating grin, just like.
Oh yeah. Oh, wait, let's
She has $1 million smile.
just read this real quick. LA Mayor Karen Bass is in Africa as her city burns, while wildfires rage in LA, forcing 30,000 evacuations. She's attending Ghana's presidential inauguration. Social media erupted with frustration as she joined a taxpayer-funded delegation. So it wasn't just her; it was a whole posse.
So what's the involvement with official business? If it's taxpayer
Right.
funded, what's the official business in
She
Ghana?
has not said.
We
In
have
fact,
diplomacy with Ghana, right?
I think so. Whenever she's
I'm
at,
sure-
she just,
I don't see why not.
Yeah, we're fine with Ghana. We don't have any problems with them.
no.
Yeah. And according to this account, very right-wing account, so take it with a grain of
Libs of
salt or whatever. Before Karen Bass was elected mayor, she promised she wouldn't travel abroad. Not only was she in Africa during the fires, she was recently in Mexico for the president's inauguration and went to Paris 3 times for the Olympics. Can you really go to Paris 3 times in one
1 month?
Olympic? Yeah, it's like a month, right?
Is
Yeah.
it a month? I thought it was like only 2 or 3 weeks. No.
But
Is it? I guess
okay,
it's a
then
month.
was she
Yeah,
going
that's
like
even worse.
every
That's
week?
like
Every
That's crazy.
week. That's like a 16-hour flight. That's insane.
Yeah. Well, she has probably has a private jet.
I went to Africa every couple of months, all the time.
Mayor has a private jet.
I don't know. I mean,
No way.
I should
For
definitely-
what? They don't travel.
The idea of leaving that, what?
Well, I mean, yeah. what does she travel on? I refuse
At
to
least
believe that
4
she
other times in
travels
recent months before the Ghana visit.
Wow. Okay, so she's been traveling a lot. Oh, and here's the interview. So check this out. This is from Film the Police. I believe this guy's an activist. I believe his son was killed by police, so he just goes around filming police all the time and talks shit to them. But he says, "How to defeat Karen Bass? Run commercials playing this video without adding any commentary. That's it." So let's check this video out.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning?
I
Do you
think she
regret
did
cutting
that
the fire department
so she
budget
could
by
deny it.
millions of
So
dollars,
I'm
Madam
asking
Mayor?
her these questions.
Have you nothing to say today? Have you absolutely
not smiling.
nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster?
It just goes to show how more concerned she is about her reputation and everything else rather than what's happening to the people.
I kind of agree with you because watching this, she's like so non-responsive that
Yeah.
it almost seems like someone is overlaying this audio
Yeah.
on this video of her.
Yeah, I mean, I would believe it if someone said that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I think
she's
she
like
did that on purpose.
so not responsive.
I mean, you'd have to say, hey, you know what? I've been briefed and I've been following up on the situation. I'm on my way here. Or I'm there already.
Anything would have been better
Yeah,
than that.
something. You know,
Also, clearly she's not on a private
we're gonna
jet,
do
so I
our
was
best or something.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
flies
apparently
commercial.
Garcetti flew in and out of LAX.
I
so
mean, I'm
think
pretty
they
sure it's
fly
first
commercial.
class, though. You know.
Oh, whoa! Is that a special exit there?
Yeah.
Right off.
Whoa.
Oh, she can't get out. But anyway, so she didn't say anything. Pretty bad. She's definitely not going to win her re-election.
Hell no.
So whoever wants to step up, whoever that we know, maybe even anyway. So.
I mean, who's gonna even hire her to be like a foreign delegate?
Yeah.
She can't handle crisis. That's their job.
Yeah.
yeah, and doesn't she have a Korean relative?
She does.
Like she's part Korean, or
No,
she
no,
has
no.
by
Like,
marriage.
Through marriage, she has Korean.
Oh,
that's
interesting.
Holy
Cool.
shit, she's 71 years old.
She looks pretty good for 71, dude.
Wow, she does.
Oh my god, I thought she
Yeah.
was like 50.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, like
That means she's less than 10
black
years older
don't
than
crack,
us.
man.
Black
I'm
don't
telling you, black don't
Black don't
crack.
crack.
Seriously, I have customers that come in,
Well,
they're like
I'm just-
70, and they're like, they
Well,
look
I'm
like
just
40.
like at 70 years old, you would think that she would have some experience with like taking accountability and like saying sorry, because that's what you teach your kids.
But
Like, the
politicians
fuck?
aren't supposed to say that. There's a way we regret.
Yeah, we
Regret.
But at least that's an apology, though.
That's not an apology.
It
Yeah,
is.
we regret.
It's apology
I'm sorry it happened.
adjacent.
That's
At
what you're
least.
saying. It's not my fault, but
She
I'm sorry
didn't
it
say
happened.
anything.
didn't say anything.
Crazy thing is she's like a LA native. She graduated Hamilton High in 71 and she was like part of a pro-Cuban group and she visited Cuba 8 times in the 70s.
Whoa.
So you would think she's pretty like,
Oh, she's like a sellout then, or what?
The establishment got to her.
yeah, maybe the
yeah.
establishment got to her. I mean,
That is really
I mean, that's why she's mayor.
She should have been in that.
yeah,
She should have been in that movie Smile because she's got the creepiest fucking smile I've ever seen.
She should.
She went to
That's actually
Cuba 8
That's a
times?
great point, man.
according
That's a
to
good idea.
Wikipedia in the 70s, yeah. And also, what was I going to say? Fuck. Continue.
Did she do anything about the homeless? Did we see like any kind of a decrease in the homeless situation?
I think we saw that there was an 18% increase last year nationwide.
But you know what? I see less homeless people these days. Oh, it's cold. Never mind. It's been cold.
That means maybe some of them.
What neighborhood do you live in?
Inglewood.
Oh,
You don't live in Inglewood.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I don't live
bullshit.
there. I don't live there.
That was bullshit.
But I feel like I live there. I mean, I've
Wait,
been
what?
there, like, no, I'm there
He
like
has
6
a
days
business
out of a
there.
week.
Oh,
you know.
okay.
You can talk about why you're in Inglewood, right?
Yeah, my restaurant.
Yeah,
Come
his
over,
restaurant. Can we-
Manchester.
shall we
and,
give it a plug?
Crenshaw. Heck
Oh,
yeah, man.
If you guys want to
Morgan's
go,
coffee shop, brother.
if you want to go to have some pretty good coffee and
It's like a diner.
Yeah, it's how like old school diners. It was like used to be called cafes
right,
and coffee
right,
shops and
right.
stuff. That's what it is.
Oh,
Look
hell
how old that thing is, dude.
look at this, it's like breakfast food, right?
Yeah.
And,
So chicken sausage
chicken
patty.
fingers.
That's oh, you like that? Omelet, liver.
Oh,
One of
very
those-
good.
I thought it was Carby.
Yeah.
The thing, you do have tonkatsu on your menu,
Yeah, I
right?
do. I do.
How do you?
I
I think
call it
I'm gonna.
tonkatsu
I
instead
think
of
I'm gonna
chicken
bring
cut.
kalbi in too.
Really?
And like
That might be your big hit, like kalbi and fried rice or
dude, they'll go
something.
crazy, dude. Kalbi is so good.
Who's they?
My folks.
What race are they?
No, it's all mixed now, dude. There's like
Oh,
Hispanic.
please.
There's white.
How do they respond to tonkatsu?
Yeah, there's people that come just for it. Yeah, it's actually not
Call
bad.
it tonkatsu on the menu instead
Yeah.
of pork
Pork
cutlet.
cutlet.
Tonkatsu.
Oh, tonkatsu.
No, you call it pork cutlet.
I said tonkatsu and then pork cutlet.
pork cutlet.
Because remember when Paul and I went there, Paul's like, you should call this tonkatsu.
No, I think I should. I
Okay.
should have it on the menu.
And by the way, he's got a pretty good breakfast burrito there. I don't think it's on the menu, right?
It's the house.
It's the house special burrito.
You make it with hot links.
And the one thing that I really like at his restaurant is wait, why are we doing this? Okay, but the one thing
baby!
the one thing that I really like at his
Moby's.
restaurant is I love a good classic cheeseburger. And if you go to Moby's, you can get like a nice, good classic cheeseburger.
Okay.
Like with fries, like it's great.
Third pound bun. I mean, third pound meat patty, and egg bun.
A third
the
pound
gourmet. You gotta
patty,
come.
you know.
Egg bun like brioche.
Yeah,
Is it
Love
brioche?
it is.
Okay.
I spared no expense.
But when I went there,
Brioche is the
90% of
best
the
for burgers.
customers were black, and then 90% of the cooks were Mexican.
Yeah.
And then
No,
there's
100% of the cooks are
And then
Mexican.
there's one tattooed Asian guy walking around.
I think
Yes.
Mexicans are the best
He means
chefs in
you,
the world.
I think.
Yeah, there's no other Asians in there.
Mexicans are best chefs.
I'm the
in
only
world.
Asian there.
Right, yeah.
K-Town's run by Mexican chefs.
Yeah, they have the most experience cooking, right?
Yeah.
That's why when you go to a real authentic
you know
Korean
what it
restaurant
is?
in K-Town, half are Korean and half are Mexican because they're familiar with our cuisine.
No, like, when you meet like
they
people,
cook it.
when you meet guys from like Mexico, like they come from a place where they can't find a job. Like they want to work, but they can't find a job, So like they're really eager to work and they're fast. They kind of work like very similar in speed with Koreans. They like doing things fast, but they got that YOLO thing.
What's the
What's
yellow?
the yellow?
YOLO.
Oh, YOLO
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, YOLO.
Yeah.
like yellow
And once in a blue moon, it's like won't come. I had this cook, like he's doing good for like 3 months, and all of a sudden he starts drinking, and he's gone for 2 months,
Oh, shit.
like literally. I'm like, when are you coming? I'll be there tomorrow. Never comes.
And then he shows up after 2 months, or what?
Yeah. I haven't seen him for a while though. I don't know what happened to him.
You haven't fired him?
Huh?
You haven't fired him?
Well, I mean, they're fired if if they're not gonna come. They're
No call
fired.
no
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But speaking of Mexicans, Mexican firefighters helped fight
Yeah,
the fire.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Oh, from Mexico.
Yeah, from
That is
Mexico.
awesome, dude.
Like the president of Mexico sent firefighters.
That is awesome,
here.
dude.
Orale.
That is really
And
awesome.
they came with like a giant cargo plane. It was pretty sick. Like they came with some heavy gear.
Which is specifically badass because recently Trump was like, I'm going to buy Mexico and Canada.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and Mexico's president's like, no.
See, that kind of stuff, like,
We're
I
not gonna
I don't know
dehumanize
why
you
you have
guys
to like
because
say
of
that
your
kind of
president.
stuff. Like, that's just weird. I don't know.
Even you as a MAGA guy, you
yeah,
think
I'm not into that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. I don't do that. You see me do that?
No, but it's like I see some of the Trump supporters are like, hell yeah, it's it's time to show the world what's up. It's like stupid. Anyway,
It's like that mentality in America, always winning. You know, I noticed everything's about winning in America.
It's because it comes from our government.
yeah.
That's what our government does.
But even the
win.
Mexican president even kind of made a ingest, like a joke or something like,
Yep.
oh, maybe this part of California, whatever we can call it, American Mexico or something, Americana Mexico or whatever the fuck.
Because it was
It
Mexico.
was
Right.
Mexico.
So Trump, don't stop fucking around and saying stupid shit like you're gonna take over Greenland and Canada or whatever. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think that's it for the fire. But I don't. One of the hosts at Radio Korea, he lost his home. He lived in the Palisades.
Oh no, really?
Mundaewon,
Oh really?
the weekend program. So yeah, that sucks for him. Apparently, some of my friends, I've been calling them. Their phones don't even because this fucking guy, he doesn't even have a cell phone, and I've been calling his home, and it doesn't work. And I saw on the map like it literally hit like right there, like that's like right where it ended. So I think he got hit by that too. And
So they have emergency funds coming in, right? I mean, they have the EID, whatever,
$770 per person, which
What?
is gonna get
Yeah.
you
What?
one night in a fucking hotel.
I saw that. It was like 700 something.
All the while, we
their
sent.
one dinner is probably more expensive than
Yeah.
that.
Like Hawaii was like what 600 something.
no,
Yeah.
here we got it, 700.
770.
Fires are over to start helping the victims. We're getting them help right now, as you all know. People impacted by these fires
Is
are going to
Biden
receive
still
a one-time
there?
payment of $770. One-time payment of $770. One-time payment
What
of
the?
$770.
Are you serious, dude?
Oh, that is crazy.
What can 770 get you?
Well, right now he's afraid of inflation after giving out all that.
was the funniest meme I saw was someone who was like, not Biden thinking that it's still the 1950s and $770 can buy you a house. But it's crazy because he sent $17.9 billion to Israel.
Right.
If we gave that to
Oh, think about how much money he
California,
sent to
that would be
Ukraine
like-
too.
Ukraine, Israel.
And by the way, there's a big tragedy in this fire.
Yeah, see?
Some people lost their homes. One of them was a BLM founder who lost 2 over 3 mansions. Isn't it a tragedy? I mean,
Wait, they're trained in Marxism, right?
Trained in Marxism.
what does that mean?
That's what they said. They said we're trained in Marxism.
That's what she said.
Yeah, that's what the BLM people said.
Okay, but what's Marxist about
Well, I mean,
this?
if you're a Marxist, I mean, can you have like 3 mansions, or if you train, or if you believe in that?
No,
kind of-
I think this was always
Dream?
what is it? Like, what does this person say? The right wing argued BLM was a Marxist insurgency.
Yeah.
When in reality, the leadership were liberals who used it to promote black capitalism and themselves.
it's kind
wow,
of true.
I think it's just capitalism.
3.
No, but like,
mansions.
it's
No,
like
they
when
were
you're
like,
there and
black
you have the
capital. What the fuck
opportunity,
is
I
black
wonder how many
capitalism?
people are going to say, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, he asked a really good question. He said, "What is black capitalism?"
Yeah, what the fuck is
what
black
What do you guys think about
capitalism?
that? Is there like Asian? Is there like Asian capitalism?
No, but there's-
that person's just racist. Whoever
There's
posted
something
this.
called the black dollar.
Well, what do you think of black capitalism? And there was Black Wall Street before, and like,
Yeah.
what's your
Well,
take on that as a communist?
I think what they're referring to is the idea of, it's like Fred Hampton. He said, you don't fight, capitalism with black capitalism.
Fred Hampton was a Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You fight it with socialism. So I think the idea is like, like the way to, lift black people out of, the place in, white supremacy in the U.S. is through what they call black capitalism. I do think that is a thing. Like that concept is a thing. Now, whether the existence of a thing called black capitalism, I mean, I'm sure we can talk about that. But I think the idea that is pushed that, the answer to the black struggle in the U.S. is through capitalism. I think that's definitely.
So it's just capitalism. Black
Yeah.
capitalism is, in essence, capitalism.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Do I have Asian capitalism?
No, because that's ridiculous.
Why?
Yeah.
Let's do yellow. Yellow capitalism.
But I think when we do stuff like that, it conflates the point that capitalism is the problem. instead of being like it's specific
No.
sectors of capitalism.
White
So
capitalism.
maybe
is the
it's
problem.
about black leaders trying to promote capitalism within their own community rather than like socialism, for example. Anyway, and before we get off the fire thing, let's play this little clip. I'm wondering your takes on this.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah,
This was a.
you got your. Yeah, I don't want to give it
I'm
away.
not
but yeah.
sure if she's.
That girl is out of her mind, dude.
But anyway, they ask her like, "What can you carry a man or something?"
Understand their situation better? Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire? Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
I can't believe they printed that.
Now,
Like, I can't believe they printed that.
for a firefighter to say that is,
It's pretty.
yeah, I don't think a firefighter should say that.
When I watched
no, it's
this,
victim blaming. It's
Wait, you
victim
guys know
blaming,
that's
dude.
a TV show, right?
Oh, is it?
That's not a real firefighter.
Oh, that's not a fire. That's not a real
that's a
firefighter.
TV that's
I
a
heard she was
TV
the
show.
assistant.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I heard she was the assistant. Is it?
well, 911 is a TV show.
Yeah, 911
Because
is a
they're
TV show.
showing clips of a TV show in between her answers.
But well,
Yeah, because they said that was the chief, and I looked at the chief, and she was white.
No, this is the fire department's diversity chief.
Then
Wow.
why are they showing clips of a
it might be
TV
just
show?
like a promotional, like a real firefighter with a background of like a TV show.
Oh,
about
well,
maybe
then
firefighters.
it's for a
it's
TV
just-
show, so she was just joking.
No, I don't think that.
It was a public relations video from 2019. She defended
Deputy
the
chief, that's
she
right.
Was, she was defending the fire department's use of DEI hiring practices. She addressed concerns that female firefighters may not be strong enough to carry a man out of a burning building. He got himself in the wrong place. Blah blah blah.
When I saw this, I wanted to believe that like somehow it was taken out of context. That's what I wanted to believe at least. Because I mean, for a firefighter to say that.
Oh, that's her now, I guess.
I guess what?
Yeah, but it is taken out of context.
I guess she's trying to make a joke out of it, but I don't know. When you put it in this light, it's like,
No, it was so ridiculous that I like it had to be somewhat taken out of context. I can't see a firefighter saying that.
Well, that's what I'm.
That's their
what I'm,
job.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why is there a TV show footage, and there's even the 911 logo is on her interview?
Yeah, I think it was one of those like promotional.
Yeah, I would assume it's like a promotion for the TV show.
Right. So let me see if that's just some fake thing that it was for a TV show.
It's because it seems like someone took something out of context to create anger about it.
oh, she's on the TV show. I remember that girl.
And they're like, wow, look at you. They're so excited. Here's a female black officer. Because it's not a lot of.
I don't know. This seems pretty.
That's for sure the actress of
Yes.
911.
Oh,
I know
this is
that.
the actress.
It's Angela Bassett.
Oh shit! I don't even know this. Okay.
So this DEI thing is like, I think most of us feel that DEI is fine, right? As long as they're not graded on a curve on that, because you do actually need to carry people out. Like when you're trying to be a police officer, everyone has to carry like a 150-pound dummy. That's the standard. You have to do it. And then I'm wondering if everyone is passing the standard.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at like videos of video and some promotional videos of like the Army nowadays, when you look at it, like they could barely run like 2 miles under 20 minutes, dude. That's ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah.
No, 2 miles in 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Really?
You got to run 2 miles way under 20 minutes, I would imagine.
2 miles. So what is that? A 10-minute mile?
Yeah, 10-minute mile.
That's at a 6.0 speed.
Yeah, but then they have to beat like I think it was 20 minutes or 20 minutes. Sorry,
Maybe 20 minutes.
Sorry.
For 1 mile.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. That's a 3-point. That's a walking.
No,
Yeah,
but
that's
it's,
walking.
yeah, it's almost like walking in the police academy.
It is walking.
When you're trying to be a cop, you have to do 1.5 miles in under, I think it was like 15 minutes.
I think the average person walks around 4 miles per hour, so that's walking pace.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. In the Army,
Anyway,
you're going to fight wars and you're walking.
anyway, during these tragedies with all these fires going on, there were some looters, I guess.
Yeah.
Burglarizing homes. And I guess some of them have been caught in Nathan Hochman. I guess they found 3 criminals. I saw the video on YouTube. There's like some footage of them. And I guess they actually live in Koreatown because then they caught them in Koreatown or
wow.
something. And they're not Korean, though. Based on their names, I would guess that they were black, based on the names only, because they had those interesting, or, those nice names. But the thing is, one of them is facing like 22 years, and the other 2 are facing like life.
What?
So this is such a huge reversal than, the Gascon days, right? So,
And that's what people were saying about Prop 36. is that there needs to be like a middle ground somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You can't let people go, but you also can't throw them in the book for
life, or I mean,
it wasn't,
Because
it
one of
wasn't
them was
even
a third time offender, and another
okay.
one was driving and got in a car and like hit somebody, and somebody got a concussion and
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm sure there's
Oh,
something
okay,
involved.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it wouldn't
so
be.
it wasn't just for theft.
Yeah.
okay. If it was just for theft, then maybe.
Well, one of them was because it was the third theft, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like a 3 strikes thing. But I have to admit, when I read this, I was like, the logical side is like, hey, that seems a bit extreme. But then my emotional side was like, fucking finally, like I felt that like, fucking get them all. I don't know how you felt. Or how you
Yeah, but
guys
then if
feel.
you think about that, though, is that like the prison system, which mostly is privatized,
yeah.
now we're sending people to make these billionaires more money because they just got a 30-year sentence.
know,
So
but
the
like-
jails are going to get overcrowded, which means that these billionaires are going to have to build more jails. It's going to put more money in their pockets. All of it is fucking bullshit. This is all bullshit.
But I don't agree with like letting them run free. And
100%.
either, it's like it doesn't get any better. Look what happened to all the shopping centers. Like you see, like CVS and some of these big retailers that are moving out of certain areas.
Yeah.
I mean, that responsibility falls directly on the city government, in my opinion. I mean, like for example, in San Francisco, you got one of the greatest like historical buildings, Emporium. That thing's totally empty. Westfield is gone. You're like completely. What about the building owners? That trusted in your city to build this over here and invested all that money or whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just close this with this segment with some clips. We actually filmed in Pacific Palisades last
Nice.
year in January, and like this part right here
It's all gone.
is all burned down now. Like all this.
The crazy
God, it
part
was so
is that
devastating, though,
the Altadena fire was worse.
Was
Oh,
it?
really?
Yeah. It was over a 15,000 acre fire. And it's still only like 30% contained.
Wow, so that one was worse.
Oh,
Okay.
Google
Altadena
Maps.
fire was way
So
worse.
were like all the houses, like there were more houses that were
Look at
destroyed too?
look at the maps of Altadena. It's
man.
decimated.
And this is Caruso's, like it's around his village. But yeah, and then
I've never been there.
you can also I think we
Pacific
stopped.
Palisades?
They stopped by the high school.
Too
Yeah,
rich
this
for
is the
me.
high school. They filmed Modern Family here, I guess.
Oh, really?
And yeah, I don't know how they got onto campus and we're just filming, but
Are you logged into your account?
yeah. I can play something if you have. And then at the end, I told them to film my, our smoking spot in high school. We used to go, we call it the Bluffs. Yeah, right there on
Are
that.
you serious?
You guys had a nice smoking spot.
That is a spot right there.
We used to smoke behind the
Damn.
handball courts.
Yeah.
Pacific Palisades.
What?
Yeah, anyway.
Are you serious? In high school?
Yeah, in high school.
I can't.
Dude, my
imagine.
high school
That's-
didn't even have like toilet stall doors.
Well, high school.
So we couldn't take Granada Hills High School.
I went to Granada
now it's
Hills.
Granada Hills Charter. Hopefully they have
Wait, is
toilet
it Granada
doors.
Hills nice now?
It used to be like that though. I mean, no.
We're going to,
Yeah, I DM'd you.
oh, you DM my Instagram?
Yeah.
What happened?
Don't show it here. Let's see.
Yeah, dude.
The first
It used to be that crappy.
the first one is what the Palisades Village looks like now. And the second one is the fireworks that set off the fire.
Fireworks, okay. You can show this.
Why did they set off fireworks there?
For New Year's Eve.
But that's a terrible spot to do fireworks over
Yep.
there. That's like, you're starting a fire.
Yeah. So
Why
what
the
is
So
hell-
this?
basically, what this guy's saying is there was a guy that lived right there, and he took those videos on both those days, January 1st and on
That's
January
a big
8th.
ass
In
fire.
La Crescenta, they don't in La Cañada, they don't even let you open a bonfire.
Yeah.
The fire chief, they'll come. They'll
Yeah.
come and they'll tell you to turn it off, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the fires, dude. And these kids are straight out.
So that guy saw like a bunch of teenagers setting off fireworks at Skull Rock on New Year's Eve, and the fire professionals are stating that the embers have been burning because they could burn for weeks, up to like over a month.
Yeah.
In the brush, and then the high hurricane winds then activated the embers into fire with all the dry brush.
Right. All right, and let's go. Well, it's been 45 minutes. Let's go on to our next topic. You guys like that comedian George Carlin? I mean, he's no longer with us, but you guys like George Carlin?
Yeah, he's
I
cool.
do.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, right?
He's funny. Very
I remember
cynical.
he made a joke
like him.
about Israel at one point.
Oh yeah. He
jokes
said
about
like
God. I don't think it's a joke, actually.
he's like Arab commandos are called terrorists and Israeli terrorists are called commandos, and stuff like that. But one thing that he did say was like it's a big club, between all the powerful. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. So, how we were hearing during the election how, it's like dire situation, Trump must not win, and the Democratic leadership were like, this is so dangerous and everything, right? Meanwhile, at Jimmy Carter's funeral, they're like best buddies.
Yeah.
Now, Socialist MMA Revolutionary Blackout says, imagine cutting off close friends and family members because they didn't vote for your team. Meanwhile, this is the ruling class.
Yeah,
What
but
else?
if you watch that full video, they talked for like all of 5 seconds.
It looked a little longer than 5 seconds.
But like, I think if the like,
Hey, he's wearing a blue tie.
if the political charade was like accurate in real life, those 5 seconds wouldn't even have happened. You know what I mean? Right. Like if all that like us as Democrats, we must bring down Trump. Like,
But that's
Melania
why.
doesn't
But
like
that's
it.
why this whole narrative is funny because Obama never hated Trump. It was the opposite way around. So it's not like, oh, remember the Democrats. It's like, oh, remember when you guys backed someone who literally started his political campaign saying how much he hated Obama?
But Obama roasted him, dude.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like it should be, the commentary should be the other way. Look how much of a hypocrite and liar Trump is. He's the one who had the vendetta. Obama's not even American. His name is Hussein. Like that was him. We need his federal records and his birth certificate. Like if anyone's being a liar, it's Trump, not Obama.
I think, though, the Muslim thing about Obama was started by Hillary. But, as I recall, it was in the 2000... Was it 2008? Yeah, 2008. But also it says... but the thing is... Okay, so anyway, this person says, it's crazy how in the span of 2 months, Obama went from calling Trump a threat to democracy to laughing with him. Makes you realize how unserious they are. They don't even believe the rhetoric they use to scare American people into voting with them. What else?
And that's what you call confirmation bias.
No, it's because, he doesn't like... What's his name? Biden has fallen out of favor with Obama.
Donald
Obama
Trump
like
is the
him no
greatest
more.
threat this nation ever faced. He's a fascist that will destroy the very foundation of our democracy. Meanwhile, although I will say Kamala didn't look too pleased to see
Dude,
Donald Trump
Like,
there.
they keep showing clips of Joe Biden and Jill just straight out ignoring Kamala.
Yeah.
Like they seem like they're totally ostracized. Just like boom, kicked
Right.
out. Right.
Hampton Institute, I think the name is inspired by Fred Hampton, who you brought up earlier. He was a 21-year-old revolutionary who was killed by the FBI, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Or police or something. At the end of the day, the capitalist ruling class is unified by shared interests. Their children attend the same private schools. They live in the same gated communities. They vacation at the same luxury getaways. They have identical stock portfolios, etc. And we pay the price. And let me also show this. So here they are. Here's the actual video. Yeah, they look like... It's like me and David, or me and Young, or whatever, me and Ed. Bush looks kind of like...
he needs to die.
Maybe it's like a boxing match, During the fight, you guys are going at it, right? But at the end, you hug it out.
Yeah, but here's another interesting image that shows this. Nancy Pelosi's son, Paul Pelosi Jr., celebrating New Year's Eve with Trump's daughter, Ivanka, in Mar-a-Lago. It's a big club, and we ain't in it. Now, this reminds me, during the Trump presidency, Jeff Bezos had a party at his home in Washington, D.C., and at that party was like Trump people like Jared Kushner and people like, like Democrats and Republicans were all just chilling together at Bezos' house. Like, they're at the same house party, And I've seen, people cut relations with their families and friends. It's kind of sad that we're the ones dividing ourselves, but they all seem to get along.
That's how you should be done. If you're the CEO of Radio Korea, right? And then you're going to other competitors, like, let's say there's a party or something, and then you have other competitors. You're going to go there and you're going to be close with them, right? You're not going to be ignoring them.
Or at least cordial.
Cordial, yeah, there you go.
Especially when you're billionaires and your $1 billion business depends on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people are taking things out of context. It's like
you also have to have close friends in the other side as well, so
Right.
you can get some cooperation.
I mean that too, but I mean like I've been at parties with racists and people that I fucking hate and got in a fight with. Doesn't mean just because they were photographed at the same party doesn't mean that like we're buddy.
Did you guys fight at the party?
I mean, some of them.
But that everything you just made makes sense, except I feel like when it comes to American politics, right? They're calling each other like threat to whether it be democracy or like it's not just like you're wrong, I have a different opinion. It's like no, you're a bad person, you're evil, and to hang out with them when the camera's off, I do think that's weird. Like you can, because if it's a boxing match, it's like I'm better at fighting than you. I don't have anything against you as a person. I'll hang out with you. You know what I mean? But if I'm calling you a bad person because your policies are evil, you're calling me evil because my policies are evil, and I hang out with you afterwards, that's fucking weird.
That is weird. I think it's weird.
But I also say all of that, having always said that the government, it's us versus the government.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
It's the bipartisan thing is fake.
Yeah.
We've been saying that for a long time.
I completely
you know what I mean?
agree.
I even posted a story today where I was like, it's us versus the government.
Yeah, and don't forget the working class, whatever the masses. We had some class solidarity when Luigi came out.
Yeah,
so,
right. We did.
Well, that's the crazy thing is that like we shouldn't lose that momentum because this is the same story, just a different antagonist.
Yeah,
right.
We're still the protagonists.
Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
That was Vito Corleone's words to Michael.
Vito Corleone.
Anyway, I'm gonna, okay, so, all right, good discussion on that. Let's move on to our next topic. We did that in only about 7 minutes. All right, next topic, TikTok. TikTok is supposed to be banned or something, right?
Dude, TikTok it's like really nice to edit video on TikTok. TikTok's really cool.
Kind of random.
No, I mean, I just thought it's easy to use. It has more features than Instagram.
Oh, okay.
But that
That's what I
part is
thought.
true. It is very TikTok is very user friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like the Mac.
I love the
Mac
AutoCAD.
of social media.
It just makes it look cool.
Why is the U.S. government trying to get rid of TikTok? Like, what's the official reason, and then what's the real reason? Ed, I think you know because you are a TikTok influencer with over 500,000 followers.
Ooh.
I mean, that doesn't mean that I know the government.
Well, you know more than us.
So what the government is claiming, started with Trump, was that because it's China-based, they're stealing our data and doing whatever with their data. But in reality, I don't know about you guys. I've never heard of anyone being like, "Oh my God, someone from China stole my identity," which is the number one thing you would do with someone's information,
I
right?
get all these emails from China, man.
But that's the thing is that like I'm not saying that there's zero, but it's not any more than any other country.
Right.
You know what I mean? In fact, there is another country in Asia, I'm not going to name it, that has the highest number of scams. And it's not China.
Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I just, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I couldn't, yeah. I'm sorry. That was really bad. I shouldn't do that.
What happened?
Nothing.
I just missed it, dude.
I'm trying to regain my train of thought. And then,
Sorry.
but the real reason is our country has always been racist towards China and Chinese people.
Right.
Specifically, like in the last like 40, 50 years, we've been very xenophobic.
Yeah.
Because that's when China's GDP started to take a projection that it was going to, in a couple of decades, overtake our GDP. So what they did was in September of last year, in 2024, Biden and Kamala signed off, along with the House, on a $1.6 billion anti-China bill. And I find it so immoral and unethical that the mainstream media was like printing all of these articles being like, we don't know which way they're going to vote. It's like, what do you mean? You don't invest $1.6 billion to have the Supreme Court overturn this decision, because this is maybe not step one, but it's like the biggest platform. Like when you make like examples out of celebrities, this is what they're doing with China. And the craziest thing about this $1.6 billion anti-China bill is there is not a single U.S. American mainstream media that printed it saying it was an anti-China bill or even said anything about this bill at all. And it's literally, it might as well be called the anti-China bill, because it's like something about like overturning the Chinese like
Propaganda.
CCP.
bill.
Oh,
Yeah.
CCP.
And it's ridiculous that, so it's like twofold, right? It's one, China But two, and another thing that mainstream US media does not print, like smaller media companies do, TikTok has become the #1 source of news, politics, and information for millennials and Gen Z and younger. And that has made huge impacts on building community, realizing what's happening with the 1%ers versus the rest of the country, our politicians, the whole fake bipartisan thing.
And Palestine.
Yes, and Palestine. Thank you.
That's probably why they don't like it.
Most specifically, Palestine videos. The dissemination of information can no longer be controlled because China is not a U.S. company, whereas other U.S. media companies, the government, can put pressure on them to publicize certain things or not talk about certain things. They can't do that with China.
Right.
So this is what they do. They fearmonger Americans. They fearmonger Americans to think that, oh, China bad. China hasn't done anything other than maybe to some of its own people in like decades. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are they going to do to America? They haven't fought a war in like 50 years, not since the Sino-Vietnamese War. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, they're not trying to overthrow our government. Do you remember a couple of years back when they were like, all these Chinese laundromats are setting up shop all around our forts? I literally called I made a video about it a couple years ago. I called every single dry cleaners in all of the biggest forts in America. They're all fucking Korean.
You can't change that, man.
Like it's a fucking lie and it's propaganda. And the reason why they want to get rid of TikTok is because TikTok shows the everyday American people that the biggest component of propaganda feeding to our population is our U.S. government, not China.
Well, I mean,
not anyone
Zuckerberg
else.
admitted it.
Yeah. Right. And that's the other big thing, too, is like, if we're scared that China's stealing our data, let's be real about this, right? They're not trying to steal a war. They're not trying to steal our data. The only thing they're trying to do, and it's evidenced by the launch of TikTok Shop, and it has become one of the most successful social media, like online, like marketplaces in all of the internet.
So
they used all of our data to figure out our shopping habits, figure out what they can show us to sell us stuff so that they can make more money.
Temu.
And that's what America is fucked up about. And you know what's crazy is that in that anti-China bill, they specifically named the Belt and Road Initiative of how they're trying to take the Belt and Road Initiative down. This is how China became one of the #1 leading GDPs in the world, not because they took the American approach where it's destroy anything that comes closer, start wars, take over their government and all that fucking bullshit. China decided to invest in 150 other countries by building up their import and export because the mentality was if we build up all these other countries around us, then now we can trade with them, which means more money for us. The idea that if you bring one person up and bring everyone up around you, we all succeed because this mentality of like, but they're taking something from me, that's fucking bullshit. So America doesn't like that, right? Because we are a bully nation. We bully our fucking citizens first. And then all the other countries. So, we can't have that. So destroy China because, God forbid, hard work, smart, and intelligence and all that bullshit actually works.
See, America finds China a threat because China is that powerful. I'll tell you one thing. China is powerful, very influential in Asia.
Sure.
And they can bully other nations too. So it's like they're at the same level.
Well, can and will is completely different.
Oh, they have.
Who?
It's Korea. Korea is always in a position like where, if like, for example, they're in a position where it's either America or China. They can't stand with both. Like, for example, on a THAAD issue, right?
Well, but that's pointed at
China.
I
understand. But I'm just saying. I'm saying that, they have relations with them, but they also say, hey, you know what? They do the same thing. It's a superpower. You want something for your benefit or better for you, right? I mean, and they get it.
But is that just the
No.
symptom of America?
No. I'm saying that America feels like that because they're the only country that can play on that field. They're like
so just superpower.
G2.
But I guess what I'm saying is like the way that China is to Korea, is it because of America though?
As in, if America wasn't in the picture, would China have done that?
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Because it was a THAAD. I understand. I understand
also,
the capabilities
I think it's
of that.
unfair enough to call Ed a liberal. He was not sound like a liberal at all just now.
I'm definitely progressive. I do not identify with any party.
That was not liberal talk. I think he's inching closer.
That wasn't liberal.
I think he's inching closer.
That's just the truth.
What do you guys think about this? What if China allowed Facebook or Instagram?
Okay, so I'll get
without a VPN.
No. I'll get into that. So, Selena Wang, who's an Asian American journalist with a white husband, by the way, She goes, if TikTok is ultimately, well, because Doug made a point, and I'm going to show his tweet. If TikTok is ultimately banned, China would be getting a taste of its own medicine. Virtually all major U.S. social media companies are banned in China. Even TikTok is banned. The version that's available in the mainland called Douyin is subject to China censorship laws. Now, this guy says literally 0 U.S. social media companies are banned in China. Essentially, it comes down to, you don't have to show this, but it comes down to China has their own rules, and if tech companies want to work in China, they got to follow Chinese rules. So Microsoft is still there, and other tech companies are still there, but U.S. social media companies did not want to follow Chinese law.
See, that's Zuckerberg's.
Whereas TikTok is following U.S. law, but is being forced to sell or cease.
Is the only one in the U.S. following the law? TikTok is the only social media company in the U.S. actually following the law. They're the only social media company in the U.S. that puts all of their data into a third-party company. The only one.
Yeah. Also, weren't the data centers held in Oracle?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about.
Which is a CIA company.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it started by a guy.
Well, I'm sure Larry Ellison probably has connection. The head of Oracle probably has connections there. But here's Doug's response to Selena Wang's post. She's pretty, but what did Doug say? If anyone can come up with a better theory in explaining being an overall traitor to their people than the white male, Asian female mind virus, I'm all ears. But until then, it remains undefeated in its explanatory power of the influence of westernized Asian women spewing propaganda in media. All right.
Now, it sounds like Kim Jong-un. He's got that like dictatorship feel. He's like, ah.
Who, Doug?
Yeah. Saying,
Right. So, so because TikTok is apparently going to be banned or whatever, and TikTok is not going to sell to Elon Musk like some rumors stated, what have American TikTok users been doing since yesterday?
TikToking.
They've been downloading a new app called the Little Red Book.
It's the #1 app in social media. It's the #2 app overall in the App Store.
So is it by TikTok?
No, it's just another Chinese.
It's so ironic that's called Little Red Book, like Mao's Little
Mao
Red Book.
had his Little Red Book.
That's what it was named after.
How come you don't do like Weibo? Or like, is Weibo still around?
I don't think you
Isn't
can
Weibo
use
banned in the
can't?
US?
Weibo. I don't think you can use Weibo in the US.
I have the app, but
See,
I
China
think
should
I
let
had
everyone use it.
trouble with it. But anyway, now...
But because so many Americans are going over to Redbook, they've literally Englishfied everything. It's still not fully English. There are some times when it's like in English and then it'll glitch to Chinese and then back to English.
Yeah.
But
the software engineers are working overtime, huh?
But like this is something that we're all doing because all of us who... The majority of the younger generations are purposely using Redbook to spite the U.S. government because we're telling you that we know that China isn't doing anything nefarious with our data. So when they're like, you can't use Chinese apps, we're like, no, we are. And I don't give a shit if they steal my data, sell me shit. Yeah. I don't fucking care. I don't. Yeah. You can have. There's free will. You don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a tweet from Cyrus Jansen. He's an American who lives in China. It was hilarious that Americans are now flocking over to another Chinese social media app, Xiaohongshu, Little Red Book, in an effort to spite the U.S. government as it prepares to ban TikTok. Another tweet. What is this? China 1, USA 0. Americans are flocking to Chinese short-form video app known as Red Note in English. The app surged to #1, as Ed earlier stated. And #2 I saw was TikTok's other app called Lemon8.
Lemon8. Yep.
So the top 2 apps yesterday were Chinese apps.
Maybe I could capitalize on that opportunity to become an influencer.
Here's another one. Laughing my ass off at thousands of people downloading Red Note to spite the U.S. government. Finding themselves having lovely interactions with the millions of Chinese citizens on the app and inadvertently undoing decades of U.S. propaganda.
I also heard a lot of people who've already been using it for the last week, they're like, the response is so much more positive. Yeah. They're like, you don't have all of these like hateful trolls in the comments. So
yeah, I noticed like, dude, like there's some like, oh my God, the comment section, like, it's pretty damn racist, dude.
That's why I don't ever.
But it's funny. But like, I'm like, that's kind of. I wouldn't say that,
Right.
Instagram is worse than TikTok.
Yeah.
Facebook is worse than Instagram. Reddit
there's
is
none
worse
of that on TikTok?
than all of them.
TikTok's like
TikTok's
love.
more.
No, TikTok is. but it's not as
bad as
Actually,
Instagram,
you know
right?
what?
as bad as
I
Instagram.
do
Yeah,
have
Instagram's
TikTok. The comments are
obsessed.
nicer on TikTok.
Facebook is worse than Instagram because all younger people left
Right.
Facebook when our parents started using it. So it's like filled with nothing but people who don't know how to fact check. So
Grumpy old men.
Yeah.
there's just like so much misinformation and
Just AI
stupidity.
shit.
Yeah, it's, oh my God.
There's a lot of
All
misinformation.
right, now let's look at this comment from Asian American. She's from Singapore.
Ching Chong.
She seems to hang out with a lot of conservative dudes. Anyway, she goes, "Oh boy, is this a new Ching Chong spyware
That's weird.
app?"
Now that's
What?
weird.
You guys know Melissa
that is
Chen, right?
weird.
You
No,
guys know her, right?
I don't wanna know her.
She's always saying stupid shit
That
like
is-
this.
that's
Never
weird.
seen
That's
her
what she
before
said?
in my life.
Now,
Holy
what does Doug say?
shit.
Doug says, "How much white dick is in your mouth?"
That was a good one, Doug. I like that one.
And then let's see. This is your big finish, fucking dumbass. So I guess her husband is Winston Marshall.
Oh, I know him.
He's a singer or something?
Yeah, I guess.
No,
He
he's,
he married Melissa Chen last year.
He's the influencer. He's like the political commentator, right?
I'm pretty sure Melissa Chen is.
But he's an earpiece and a
Older than
guitar
her?
strap.
I don't
says
know.
musician,
Is it
songwriter.
musician? I don't know. Maybe it's a.
But anyway, that's what Doug says. How much white dick is in your mouth? And then Xiang Yu says, "I hate to break it to you, but at some point you'll probably get accused of being a Ching Chong spy."
Go Shang Yu.
That's true. Just like what they did to the Japanese, right?
That's,
Yeah. So I don't know. And Daniel Dumbrill, I think he's Canadian, but he lives in China now. He goes, often the most vehement anti-China journalists and activists in the West are of Chinese descent. There's Gordon Chang, for example. He's openly admitted that he aspired to be more like his white American friends. Melissa spent a lot of time attempting to convince the public of the TikTok China threat. She was taken aback when she observed many people would rather directly download a full-on Chinese app than capitulate. So much of her identity is invested in proving that she isn't like those other Ching Chongs back in China, and that in a moment of disappointment and vulnerability, she inadvertently used the derogatory term that most encapsulates her self-loathing and desperation directly.
You know, that's
about
funny. Like,
inadvertently.
how isn't that a racist comment? Like, you know, Ching Chong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
of course.
That's super racist.
This Melissa,
right?
she's always hanging around these like right-wing white dudes, trying to get their approval. You know, she's not a good person. So anyway, any comments on this? Because we're gonna move on to the next
She a
final thing.
Twinkie. Bona fide Twinkie.
They remind me like it's the same vibe as like defectors. They use like obviously like Korean defectors.
Yeah, atrocity propaganda.
No, but like the way she says it is like just downright.
self-hating.
Yeah, it's just kind of like why would you do that? Why would you say Ching Chong?
I think
like,
she's lost sense of.
What
think
it's
she
like the
thinks
funny
she's
thing
white.
about delusion is that like she thinks that she's like doing whatever. It's like everyone else. All we read when we see that is, I am insecure.
Or maybe she doesn't. She lost her heritage.
She's so
Yeah.
lost in the sauce. She can't even see it anymore.
That's bad parenting.
Lost in the sauce. That's Gen Z term, right? Lost in the sauce. She's lost in the sauce. I'm gonna use that along with mashies. Okay.
I don't think either of those are Gen Z terms.
Okay, I'm hearing it for the first time. Anyway, last topic of the day. You know, how long has this genocide been going on in Gaza now? 15 months?
70 some years.
Since, 15 months. Well, 14.
I think I saw this yesterday, or was it
What, 15?
today?
15.
Look at this. Trump's Mideast envoy forced Netanyahu to accept a Gaza plan he repeatedly rejected. Israeli sources say that the involvement of the incoming Trump administration, led by his envoy, revived hostage talks with Hamas. Netanyahu's propaganda machine claims that Trump has left him no choice. What happens inside his coalition will determine whether the prime minister approves the deal. Now,
Yeah, at least he could bully him.
It's now been revealed that Trump sent a harsh letter to Netanyahu telling him to accept a ceasefire in Gaza ASAP. What is this? A moment of silence for all the Democrats who cheerfully told us that Trump was going to kill all Palestinians when in office. I do remember saying that the genocide will be worse. What else?
And Israel ramped up the violence.
I don't know
this
that's necessarily
past
true
month.
either, because I've had conversations with people pre-election where I was like, oh no, not me agreeing with Trump on Palestine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What?
Because he claimed that he was going to end the ceasefire, and a lot of progressive Democrats were like, well, that's weird. We didn't have, like, you know, agreeing with Trump on Palestine on my bingo 2024 card and shit, you know.
Let's see.
But also, it's like, it also kind of feels a little performative, right? Just stop funding it and it's over.
Yeah, so let's see. Mehdi Hassan said something that was okay. So yeah, here's the from Haaretz, the Israeli paper. Last Friday evening, whatever, called from Qatar to tell Netanyahu's aides that he would be coming to Israel the following afternoon. They explained that he was in the middle of the Sabbath, but that the prime minister would meet with him Saturday night.
Netanyahu's not even practicing Jew.
Yeah, right. So his blunt reaction took them by surprise. He explained to them in salty English that Shabbat was of no interest. He said Shabbat was of no interest to him. His message was loud and clear. So thus, in an unusual departure from his official practice, the prime minister showed up at his office for an official meeting and then returned to Qatar to seal the deal. Now, Mehdi Hassan, who is very liberal and a big supporter of the Democratic Party, although he has criticized them after Kamala lost. He says, some of us said a year ago that the U.S. president has the power to impose a deal on ceasefire on Netanyahu and Israel. If President-elect Trump can do it, Biden could have done it for the past year.
Hell yeah.
Shame on him and Blinken and the rest of them. Now, isn't that true?
Of course.
Biden could have stopped it.
Oh,
he could have.
Again, don't send $19 billion and it would have ended.
Yeah. So, and then here's AOC looking like a clown because
Oh my God.
I don't like that girl, dude. That
she was
woman is
claiming
like-
they were
something's wrong
working
with her.
tirelessly
Nah.
to secure a ceasefire in Gaza. Trump apparently, we'll see if it actually happens, but seems like he was able to get more done before even taking office.
She's so full of it too, dude.
So anyway, you know, that was a big surprise for me to see. I'm like, holy shit, because I thought he might be worse. He's like, if the hostages are not released by
Yeah.
the time I'm in, then
There will be hell over
hell
Middle
to
East or
pay,
something,
and
yeah.
then but then this shit happens. So Trump, he's kind of like unpredictable. I don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah,
Just always have to ask yourself, what is the benefit to him that we're not seeing?
Yeah, what is the benefit to him?
That's the thing. Is
He's building a
I
whole
don't
town.
know.
His voter base definitely isn't interested in
What I do
ceasefire.
see is
that's what I'm
that
saying. There's something beneficial to
he
him.
might be targeted by the Mossad now. So I don't know. But we'll see what happens with Trump. We'll see if there's really a ceasefire. But there was also a video of children in Gaza now erupting with joy.
See, he's gonna build Trump Tower there. That's what's gonna happen.
They're having a rave now.
Oh, really?
Well, it's not rave music, but anyway.
They don't even drink though.
But Israel, if in anticipation of this, supposed ceasefire, Israel like ramped up the violence today and killed more than like 80 today alone.
Oh, so before
Non-stop bombing. I mean, Israel has done that.
yeah,
every
you know what that's
single
gonna do? It's
ceasefire.
gonna bring the second generation to come back after Israel. And
I mean,
keep-
every single generation is gonna come back after Israel until Palestine is free, 100%. I mean, imagine if Korea was still colonized by Japan. I'll be
Right.
grabbing a gun right now,
Right.
100%.
Yeah. So
you'd be speaking Japanese.
anyway, if this is really going to happen, then that's one thing that I will give Trump. One thing
Yeah.
that I will give him credit for. Just like his last term, the one thing I give him credit for was,
Abraham?
meeting with Kim Jong-un and trying to set something up. Although I don't think that was initiated by Trump. That was initiated by Moon's administration. As I recall, they went to the White House to ask Trump.
I thought it was Dennis
do that.
Rodman.
But it technically made things worse in the long end.
Well, he didn't follow up. He just kind of left him hanging for a long time. But the funny thing is, he didn't do anything. Like there were no provocations for a while.
Yeah.
That was kind of strange.
But anyway, he wrote me beautiful letters. Anyway, there was some Korean stuff that I wanted to cover, but I won't be able to. So let me just read the headlines. Squid Game faces boycott in Vietnam for some line about where, somebody's father was in Vietnam, a Korean soldier.
Like, oh, you must have been a hero.
Oh,
you
because apparently like
Yeah.
the Korean military was very,
Oh, it's
very, very,
absolutely
very
terrible.
like, brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, and some Korean got online said, what's wrong? I said, well, how would you feel if, there was a show where somebody's father was like an Imperial Japanese soldier in
Yeah.
Korea or something.
Must
and
have been
says,
brave.
your father was a great man. So, yeah. Another thing is Matt Kim, who was on this program, he made a video, which I thought was interesting, but we won't be able to cover. But he was saying, why does Squid Game 2 and Netflix have to push trans ideology onto Koreans or something
I
like
heard.
that?
I heard it's like a part of Netflix's
Right.
list of things that need to be covered.
I really like the character though. Now I don't like it when Netflix does that, to be sure, but I really like that character.
Yeah, it's a good
Yeah,
character.
he was the bomb.
She.
I don't think it was Netflix. I think it was the creator. He specifically said it. He said,
Good call.
He said Korea, the LGBTQ community,
Yeah.
especially the trans community,
Yeah.
have no rights or anything.
Yeah.
So I think
Which is
he.
very
I think
true.
he-
yeah.
I don't think it was
Which is
Netflix. I
true.
think he put it in there to help
Yeah.
humanize it because it actually. I don't know if I said it on here, but it happened with my mom when we
Yeah.
were watching Squid Games.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah, she eventually started to be like, oh, I see why things like this are important. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow.
I feel
that's
like that
really
was
nice.
why it was put in there
Okay.
because
Yeah.
Korea.
I believe that. I believe
Korea's
that.
like super anti-trans, like the whole 4B movement.
No, they're
Yeah.
anti everything.
Yeah.
They're anti, yeah. It's
Even
like,
the
no,
4B
seriously,
movement,
especially
as
the
much as everyone's
hardcore
like, oh,
Christian
it's so
group,
feminist, they're super anti-trans.
I've never seen so much hate flow out of a Christian.
Yeah,
Korean
and,
Christians are a different breed.
Yeah.
They hold Israel flags.
and American flags.
Yeah, and American flags.
No, and actually, there was one thing I wanted to show was, the Yoon supporters in Korea, they attacked some Chinese women that were just walking
you
around,
serious?
and some guy was yelling, "중국인이야, 중국인!"
Oh my god.
Like, okay, and?
And like
Cha da cha.
they've been, Chinese
Cool.
people have been in Korea for the longest time. Like
For thousands of
They
years.
do labor. They do a lot of the work that nobody
Many
will do.
Koreans have Chinese in their blood.
Like Hank Yu. Anyway,
But that's like saying Japanese has Korean in their blood. They'll
but I
never
wonder
admit
if
to
these
it.
South Koreans who were like, hating on these Chinese girls, I mean, I wonder if they were affected by the $1.6 billion that we spend to promote anti-China.
You don't need
news.
that money to go to Korea. Korea's already so xenophobic.
Yeah. So anyway, that's it for today's episode. Thanks to David Yoon. He's going to be a regular fixture here. Next time, I don't think he'll have the mask. So thank you for joining us today and giving us your insights. Thank you, Young,
Thank you.
for coming again and giving us your
Hell yeah.
Distractions.
Pass. I don't like this. It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Stuff. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
All right, I'll do that. And I hope you guys enjoy the new intro. And by the way, the next episode will be Young Kim, Ed Choi, and we're going to have two new hosts. So Ed and Young will be the panelists for these two new hosts. It's going to be a surprise, and you're going to find out next time. But it's a guy and a girl. So we're finally getting a girl on this show.
Oh, no more sausage party.
Okay, but
What?
let's be appropriate
What?
with our new...
Oh, of course.
Yeah, so...
I just,
What are you looking at me for?
And we'll
no,
be...
because it's me.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who's always like, making dirty jokes.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next time on Ktown Social Club. Peace.
Cool. Nice episode.
Yeah, I think it was good.
That was fun. That was very fun.
I don't know. What did you think?